तो basically तुम्हारा video last time, your video was one of the highest seen videos on my channel. So
Okay.
I thought, why not bring you back for updates after what happened after you finished masters. How was the journey? Um, your masters was in different city. I know personally that you moved cities as well. So how was that experience? So everything around that. So let's start. How I can keep asking some questions in between, and this is more for there are many people on LinkedIn who ask me and must be asking you as well, that how is job life, how is this, how is that. So I think there will be a lot of um, good good things for them to know, lot of information for them to know from
Right.
how your journey has been. So all good, let's get started. So
Okay.
over to
Okay.
you.
Thank
તમે
you, Abhinav.
first question is, તમે કોણ ki you started you finished your masters. What happened after that?
Okay. Probably if I just, go back down the memory lane, I remember the time when I recorded for your last video.
Hmm.
So with the confidence that I had during that time, like, okay, things fall left and right, we shift here and there.
Yeah.
So definitely it was not that easy, finding a job,
Hmm.
especially when you're an expat in a different country.
Yeah.
So मत लगे कि considering the current market conditions ଯେମିତି ଯାହା ଥିଲା,
Yeah.
so it was never an easy ploy to
Hmm.
get into the job inside. Because already when you're doing well as in like when you're experienced, when you're kind of
Hmm.
settled in your career,
Hmm.
you know the bright side and also the side where you actually want to take up when you are moving to a different country. So
Hmm.
looking at that aspect, one thing that kind of surprised me was especially the resumes that we generally, prefer during the international market. I believe
Hmm.
India be would have, but not sure again.
Hmm.
So, so the resume has to be fit as per the market standards because there are a lot of automated tools, ATS, and all being considered.
Hmm.
So it didn't take me a lot of time to kind of figure out like how to get into that. But the thing is that what I felt personally, in my opinion,
Hmm.
so let's say most of my masters were kind of completed by June. I was just waiting for my results in the month of September.
Hmm.
So I eventually was very confident. Okay, like for an experienced guy like me, it will take me almost a month to kind of get into a job.
Hmm.
So I started getting into that resume race in the month of June itself.
Hmm.
But seems like yes, I was able to crack the resume in 10-15 days. After
We,
that, I started getting calls.
timeline wise, we're talking about 2023.
Yes, yes, yes.
Hmm.
I'm there itself.
Hmm.
Like June 10th, I might have submitted my major, what do you say, the project,
Hmm.
everything.
Hmm.
After that, I kind of, started venturing into my resume game,
Hmm.
which I eventually cracked in 10-15 days.
Hmm.
And then I was kind of getting landing up interviews and all.
Hmm.
Okay, few challenges, what I would say. One of the challenges, for example, the skill set that you come bring from India. For example, I was working with a very tool-based specific kind of an item.
Hmm.
So the openings were very limited. And secondly, after my master's and everything, I thought like, okay, I would be full-fledgedly looking into a role of a BA or a PM.
Hmm.
That's something what I was looking for.
Hmm.
I may not have the relevant experience, but because of the seniority and all, I had got that opportunity in my previous one, which was Wells Fargo.
Hmm.
Okay. And eventually, when the interview game, all the things started. So I was really surprised. There was a huge disconnect between the recruiters and the hiring managers.
Hmm.
That is something what I observed. Reason being because in India, the recruiter is like a go-getter who would be
Hmm.
trying to, figure out with the hiring manager कि हाँ इसका तो resume है इसको अगर मैं refer करके ले रहा हूँ तो I would get some commission out of it. But here
Hmm.
things don't work that way. Here
Hmm.
the recruiter has a substantial say in like whether you are kind of market fit or not.
Hmm.
So I was having a huge challenge in understanding. Okay, I was not even to able to clear some of the rounds from the recruiters itself. So
Hmm.
couple of 3 or 4 interviews I gave, and then I realized okay where I was lacking.
Hmm.
Secondly, here the interviews are more specific to a specific format. I believe they are called a star format or something,
Hmm. Hmm.
wherein you have to give a storytelling kind of an example.
Yeah.
And third, since you don't have a visa, I mean, which is the
Hmm.
most important factor of getting a lot of rejections is
Hmm.
people here or the companies here look for a full-time working visa. Even the
Hmm.
stamp 1G that we get here from the
Hmm.
government after our masters,
Mm.
That is also considered as a temporary visa.
Mm.
Most of the time, even after my resume, going to the next level, I have
Mm.
seen that most of the recruiters, considering my resume because I get those notifications, still then getting rejected. Reason being, they say that okay, the current project doesn't have the budget to sponsor the visa.
Mm.
Even if we say that we are willing to self sponsor, but certain companies have a criteria. No, they don't kind of encourage. I think I've seen many of the well reputed firms here have this kind of notion
Mm.
that if they are willing to sponsor their visa, then only they will do it, but they don't entertain self sponsors as well.
Mm.
So this is also another thing.
Yeah.
Fourth thing, since you don't have any active job in the Irish job market, so it becomes again a trust factor for someone to
Mm.
trust you whether you actually fall in line with the current market or not.
Mm.
That was another thing. But having said that, with all ups and downs, like all just like a Bollywood story, so
Mm.
the ending has to be good. So eventually, I landed a job,
Yeah.
and yes, the job was to my choice. I am currently working with City Dublin, and more
Mm.
like a BAPM I'm working.
Mm.
Something that I was willing to do, but yes, on the salary scale and everything, if I say, I'm not that pleasantly happy. Reason being, I had expected, for example, the part where I left from India. So I was
Mm.
expecting, okay, if I would have continued my career, then probably I would have been
Mm.
lying somewhere in the higher side. But
Mm.
having said that, it's not that I'm again at the lower side. I'm still doing well compared to the,
Mm.
average market. Again, I'm doing well. But
Mm.
obviously, my expectations are a bit high. So when I
Mm.
say my expectations are a bit high, I expect that I should be above the three-digit mark, which I'm
Mm.
not currently, but I'm somewhere around the three-digit mark. That's what I
Mm.
can say or give a hint to the viewers
Mm.
because part of the contract, like you are not able to disclose some of the things.
Mm.
Yeah,
And three by
and
three, just for viewers, by three you mean
mm,
actually the six in terms of euro, full number.
yeah, yes, yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes, yes. That's correct. The
Yeah.
six-digit mark. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. And secondly, speaking to the next set of items or the what do we say about our journey in the country itself. The country is really pleasant because the time I was doing my master's, I was in Galway, and Galway had a very limited job market.
Mm.
And secondly, when we see that, okay, in Galway, the competition is again not that much, and it's more like a small city.
Mm.
And when you're in a small city, so your expectations, your exposure, and the competition is also not in line to what a big city like Dublin kind of offers you.
Mm.
So eventually, I feel that I made a smart move by coming here to Dublin because when you come to Dublin, you also network with a lot of peoples, and then you also, for example, a person like me with experience, I had a good transition from a student crowd to a crowd where people are working, and then I
Mm.
also eventually got some tips how the job market is, what the expectations are, and how do you make yourself fit. And at the same time, when you see people of your age doing really well in their careers, you also get that motivation or that push from within yourself that okay, I also want to be there. I also want to be financially independent and get things rolling. So
Mm.
that's what Dublin has got to offer. That's what I feel as a big city the sky is the limit and it gives you a lot of opportunities, lot of people, and then eventually you learn the way we all had our fill in
Mm.
India in all the major tier 2 and tier 1 cities.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. I'll
Mm,
just probe you some more. For
mm.
example, you said if you were in India, you would be. Did you mean you would be in higher, more senior position, or you meant just money wise?
See, with seniority also comes the
Yeah.
salary expectations and everything and all.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to tell here is like, for example, if I would have continued my career in India and wouldn't have moved there,
Hmm.
then definitely I would have been in a much better position.
Hmm.
So somewhere the break, because when you are
Huh.
being interviewed by any company, the recruiters or the hiring managers don't see that, okay,
You did masters.
what have you done or yeah,
Hmm.
because once you are experienced, it is expected that yeah, with the experience that you carry, you are
Hmm.
about to kind of perform to a certain role
Hmm.
and able to perform in that particular role and the responsibilities being offered.
Hmm.
So the thing what I wanted to say here is, for example, it was again like starting from the scratch.
Hmm.
And
True.
again, many people who come abroad, it's not just for like upgrading their lives, because obviously you are getting more than India if you
Hmm.
see from the monetary or the compensation perspective.
Hmm.
Even the parity wise, also you are doing well. But when
Hmm.
I talk about the Irish standard market, for example, let's say if I'm in grade 3, and
mm,
if I say that grade 5 is the IA,
mm,
or if we say that grade 7 is the IA. If I was in grade 3 in India, I'm still in grade 3 in Ireland.
mm,
Rather, I should have been in grade 4. That's what I
mm.
feel. That's
If
the
you did not
only
have a
way.
break, yeah. Mm,
If I didn't have a break, if I would have
mm,
simply continued.
yeah.
But
So-
again, these expectations, these are all part of the rat race. I mean,
mm,
for example, the time when you're looking for a job, the only thing that mattered was like, okay, I need
yeah.
to get a job.
Just get
That's the
that
important
first
thing.
job.
Yeah. After getting a job, the second thing that comes to your mind is, okay, let me figure out my visa and all those things and all
Uh,
that. But and
yeah.
once your visa is kind of figured out on all those things are there, then obviously you want to kind of, see that, okay, I should
Mm,
be in that particular zone. I
mm,
want to, upskill myself in that career and be there where others aren't. So
mm,
these things will continue. So imagine if I'm grade 4, then probably I would expect that, okay, what I'm doing as a secondary hustle, if I'm doing anything well enough as a side income or anything. So these
mm,
things will continue. That's what I feel.
mm, yeah. So, okay,
Hmm,
so that
hmm,
break is just to call out for whoever
hmm,
needs to hear this, that break is a challenge. And I have heard this not only with you, it has been with me,
hmm,
with other
hmm,
friends as well, that a break poses challenge. Say,
hmm.
industry does not care what you did by
Correct.
in that 1 year break. You did masters, you
Hmm, hmm,
did not do masters. Even if you take a
hmm.
career break, you just for roaming around, traveling around, but break is a break.
Yeah.
So that matters. And second part.
Hmm,
So you have already covered the job market. You
hmm.
covered job market, right? Challenges in job market that you faced, and then we,
Yeah, I can still go on. I mean, the market isn't that,
yeah,
promising that the way it appears, or many social media influencers say that, okay, come to Ireland, come this country,
mm,
people are waiting for skilled workers like us to come here.
mm,
I mean, that is there. I mean, skilled workers, skilled jobs are there. It's always a challenge in kind of landing your dream job. That's what I feel. Compared to the Indian market, wherein you get jobs easily, you have a,
mm,
queue of jobs lying around for you. But here, it is
mm,
not that straightforward.
mm,
Things takes time here.
mm.
That,
Yeah,
that's
and
that's something. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and definitely last few years,
Mm,
I have also seen a decline in number of jobs as well, especially
mm, mm,
given that AI has come up, and there is fear among companies that some companies are already laying off. So those scenarios are also
mm,
there.
mm,
So whoever needs to hear this, they need to take this also into consideration, that it may not be so straightforward just coming out of college and you are given a job directly starting from day one. So there
mm.
are a bit of challenges as well. So I think you
Yeah.
were on the very experienced side, so you
Mm,
had to face very little challenge. Initially, you just had to fit your resume, for example, or fit your
mm.
the recruiter screening part, those things. But once you figured out that out, it was I think it was smooth for you, right?
I wouldn't say the word smooth because with every experience or with every age gap, they have their different set of challenges.
Mm,
I believe that if you are experienced, if I tell about my challenges, if I was experienced, I feel that okay, things will be kind of very much easy for me to kind of get into a job and all. But again, I didn't realize because experienced people with whom I was competing,
mm,
again, there were Indians. They all had their stamp force. I mean,
mm,
companies would rather prefer people who had,
mm,
already set their foot in the Irish job market, and again,
mm,
they were having the right set of visas,
mm,
and definitely they had a much, better preference than me. Why would they invest in someone
mm,
with this experience and having an expectation of this particular salary? Why would they invest in someone who is very new to this market? So I
mm,
didn't have anything to prove, but again, like
mm,
with God's grace and with the right luck and
mm,
hard work, everything kind of falls in. That's what I
mm.
see.
Let's talk a bit more
Mm,
about the Stanford thing you
mm,
mentioned, just for the
mm,
viewers to
mm,
understand why that matters.
mm,
So initially, you mentioned you get Stamp 1G, and then you
mm.
mentioned Stamp 4. So what is
Mm.
the journey and why recruiters prefer? Let's talk about a little bit about that.
Okay, okay. So for the viewers here, if I just have to give them an explanation, so people who are coming from masters, generally after their kind of course gets over, they are getting the stamp 1G. Stamp 1G is just like a general work permit visa, which is valid for 2 years. Okay, and then if you get into a company and if the company is willing to sponsor you, you get your stamp 1 under critical skill employment permit. So when you are under that critical skill employment permit, if you spend 21 months in that particular visa, you get a stamp 4, which is just like a PR for you, and that gives you an opportunity to kind of change companies, and also you get additional benefits, maybe the grants from government. If you are getting redundant, you also get those benefits. You even get those benefits even when you are in stamp 1 as well, but
Mm,
stamp 4 gives you a lot of flexibility.
mm,
Unlike other PR which Canada and Australia has to offer, stamp 4 in Ireland is pretty similar to that. But again, it kind of doesn't, present you with that level of permanent thing. For example, if you're on stamp 4, you just can't go back to India and, start doing a remote work and all of that. It may not be feasible for you.
mm.
These things are not allowed, but it kind of gives you an opportunity to explore the job market and gives you a sense of belongingness in this particular country. So that's what Stanford is all about.
And just to mention, when you get
Mm.
stamp for the budgetary
Mm.
constraints that the companies have, that go away, like recruiter, right?
Uh, See, honestly, I feel that, I mean, this is the perception what has been fed into me. So, and
Mm,
I am on my journey to Stanford again.
mm,
But once I witness or experience that, I will be able to give that, level of clarity. But yes, what I have understood is, if you are on stamp 4, so it's more like the companies are not investing in you, for example, in your visa, because that part is kind of pretty much sorted.
yeah.
And a lot of opportunities like the contractual jobs, which are very high paying in the, outside markets.
Mm,
Contractual jobs in India may not have a, favorable mindset amongst people, but in
mm,
European markets, many people prefer doing that because you are a master of your own and your skills are very much honored. So
mm,
that opportunity kind of, opens up. So
mm.
definitely stamp 4 has a lot of weightage, considering other,
Yeah.
visas that you have.
I'll just give one input, given that we are on
Mm,
this topic. This happened to me.
mm,
I was once talking to a Salesforce recruiter, and
mm,
the only reason I did not get to do the interviews was that I
mm,
was he needed SAM 4.
mm, mm,
Because thing is they always have some numbers that they show to the government that let's say they have 50 numbers for this
mm,
permit sponsorship or those things. So they were out of that number, and unless I had SAM 4 I cannot do the interview.
mm.
So this happened. So that
Yeah,
I lost that opportunity just because I was not on Sanford, and I
correct.
think I was on 1G, but
Mm,
they were not looking to sponsor anyone in
right.
that visa. So
Mm,
that's that. Um, okay, we talked about break, job market
mm.
challenges. What housing market? Housing crisis or
Housing
whatever.
market. Housing crisis. Honestly, I feel the market in the housing market in Dublin, see, you would be able to find a rented home for yourself.
Yeah,
But again, I don't have any say on the prices. The rent is very much high here.
yeah.
Yeah, even like the apartment that I'm staying, it's a two-bedroom apartment. It has all the amenities, everything, but still I'm kind of shelling out almost 2,800 euros a month,
Mm,
which is, damn expensive.
mm,
I feel that the pricing, if you see on the south side of Dublin, so any two-bedroom apartment will range between 2,500 or maybe 2,600 to 2,800.
mm,
So the thing for which I'm paying high is because of the convenience. For example,
mm,
it's located in Sandyford. It has all the amenities like there's co-working space, a chef's kitchen. They have all community events happening around the corner.
mm,
Gym access is free and well secured gated society, and all the grocery stores shops
mm,
are also just downstairs. For example, Aldi is there, Duns are there, and apart from that, other good restaurants and everything is there. Even the Beacon Hospital is nearby, and
mm,
the lowest stop is also just 4 minutes walking from my home. It's just right in front of the house. You can say I just have
mm,
to cross the main road, and
mm,
so yeah, the prices are too humongously high, and
mm.
it's not that you won't be able to find a house in Dublin. You will be able to find it, but you have to be very smart because the advantage again, I'll say in Dublin is it is well connected because it's
Mm.
the capital of this country. So
Yeah.
you are well connected by DART. It's well connected by the Lewis, the bus, and also Irish Rail. So many
Mm.
people prefer staying away near the outskirts of this place. Where even the commute can be 1 hour. So
Mm.
it depends. It again, it's a mindset thing. So
Mm. Yeah. Also,
it's what, yeah.
since you mentioned you are in Sandyford,
Mm,
I just
mm,
wanted to bring it up that although you
mm,
are not working there, but there is
mm,
a good
mm.
IT companies based.
IT park, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, and secondly, the reason, for example, before Sanford, I was staying in Central Park. It was
Mm,
also a similar kind of an apartment.
mm,
The thing is that we, like, after we got our job, we moved here. The reason why we didn't want to, move away from the Green Line was
mm.
because of the safety it also kind of allows. For
Yes.
example, the Green Line is much safer, much secured, because most of the working
Mm,
professionals and the, migrants who are working in these, companies generally prefer staying here.
mm,
And and again, the apartments are also new in construction, so you get a good feel out of that, and it's well
mm.
planned and organized. The South Dublin, that's what I feel.
Let's talk a bit more
Mm,
about the safety concerns that you
mm,
already started that topic. It's a
mm.
very important topic, especially for Indians. So given safety, what like you preferred Green Line and south of Dublin. Let's talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, yeah. So, see, again, not to hurt anyone's sentiments. I mean, people, I mean, outside from India, also even the locals watching here. So, thing is that of late we have seen in Dublin there are a lot of junkies and a bit of antisocials.
Mm,
Maybe getting the grants from government and being very active in some of the city center and being on the spotlight for multiple reasons.
mm,
So in the state of being intoxicated, they can come and do any sort of activity. So
mm,
what I feel is in Galway, I never used to feel feeling like that. But again, in Dublin, if I'm walking, uh, let's say if you're in London, so you always have to keep a tab on your wallet and phone
mm,
because there are a lot of pickpockets running around. So
mm,
Dublin hasn't become that, but again, there is always a constant fear. Okay, if you're one walking across the some lane in the city center where the junkies generally get active during the evening hours and being intoxicated, they come and do any kind of harassing type of activities. And also the red line lures, you encounter such faces sometimes.
mm.
So which is very unlikely in the green line lures. That's what
Yeah,
I can feel and say.
yeah.
And there are also a lot of incidents happening. If you tune into the news, there would be some incidents happening over the city center, and obviously city center gets a lot of limelight. Reason being because it's the place where it gathers a lot of media attention. So a lot of
Mm,
protests, lot of anti-immigrant slogans, a
mm,
lot of those things happen in those places.
mm.
Like I mentioned, not to, deviate from, like, again, this is again based on my opinion. I haven't faced any such incident.
Mm,
It's just that I have seen or heard things from people and all.
mm.
And also there is a group called Indians in Ireland where people have also mentioned, some kind of hatredness or some behavior from such kind of people. But
Yes.
otherwise, I feel the Irish people are very friendly and they kind of cajole and are very light-hearted and
Mm.
fly humored. So you would actually get a good company from them. And rather, I feel that they are actually very much well behaved than what we actually
Yes.
Indians are. Some of the yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I sometimes feel bad that okay, I've seen many people breaking the queues and then
Mm,
and resorting to loud behavior,
mm,
forgetting that okay, this is a country where many people behave very culturally and very courteous
mm.
and do not
Yeah,
try to make such unlawful,
yeah.
acts and all. So yeah,
Mm. Any negative experience that you have seen among your in your close friend circle, safety wise?
not not really, not really.
Okay, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I share the same feeling, but I
Mm,
have I have had one incident, I would say,
mm,
one two actually few incidents I can say. So I just
mm,
I remember as of now two incidents that happened with me personally.
mm,
It's on the racism side. So
mm,
when it has happened with my close friends as well. So that there is that, and of course it's good to know that this happens, and
mm,
particularly choose areas where you would be safer than sorry.
mm,
So that is that. But again, I have local Irish friends as well, and they are very welcoming. So
mm.
they invite me
Yeah, yeah,
for dinners, lunch, many time, Christmas, all sorts of festivals. So
ex-
both sides are there, and I would say the good
mm,
good good is more. the bad part is little less, but it exists just to
Yeah.
be
I
people.
think, see, these things, what I feel is, see, these topics will always be a center of discussion. For example, even
Mm,
in India, if you see, for example, the
mm,
incidents happening nowadays in Karnataka where people are being, bashed up
mm,
by certain people for not speaking the local language. See, there would
mm,
be miscreants who would always be trying to make some, grabbing eyeballs for the headlines and all.
mm,
But but at the same time, you can't just avoid it. I mean,
mm,
certain things may not be happening for you, but this would be kind of catching the media's attention and all. So
mm,
these things will be there, and especially when you're living in the city,
mm,
so where the population is partly more, densely populated. So
mm.
such things are something which are very common, and as part of the big city, you just have to, look at it, be cautious, and avoid it.
Yeah,
But that wouldn't spoil your experience in staying in a city.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I feel.
Okay. Let's talk
Hmm.
about a little bit about how you stay connected with your Indian roots. Do you find good community events or cultural events or good friend circle, whatever that you do that keeps you connected with the roots? To find that in
Yeah, so
Ireland.
yeah, I haven't been that deeply connected with the Indian community here, though I
Mm,
have been part of few events and the festivals lying around here. And what I feel is that when you are outside, India,
mm,
it's more like you see India as a whole cultural community and everything. I
mm,
mean, there are festivals I've been part of. If
mm.
it would have been in India, I barely would have got time to go and attend them.
Yeah.
So for example, let's say the Ganpati celebrations which happened, I could see the whole celebration by the Maharashtra community,
Uh,
and it soared to a peak level where people were enjoying playing those dolls and all, which was a very unique experience for me. It might be common in Maharashtra, Pune. I
uh,
think I might have seen that, but haven't seen that closely.
yeah.
And similarly, the Janmashtami celebrations, what it happened, and even the Durga Puja celebrations by the Bengali community,
Yeah.
and though I'm part of some Irish Odia groups as well, but never been to their festivals.
Mm,
But yes, during Rath Yatra, what I also saw, the crowd they pull, the international people visit during the Rath Yatra
mm,
is also like what I could say is that okay, like Lord Jagannath doesn't just reside in the arts of Odisha.
mm,
They also reside. He's like a global lord. That's what I feel.
mm,
So
mm,
this is what I've closely observed in the festivals. You get to see India from a from a very macro point of view, and you are able to see, like, let's say you are playing with a what do we say that drone. Yeah,
mm,
let's say you are playing with a drone. You get to see that drone eye kind of a view
mm,
when you celebrate any Indian festival here, because the community is kind of, wouldn't say small, but it's very closely knitted.
mm.
And again, there was one Dandiya that Gujaratis they play. I forgot the festival. What do you say that?
Dandiya itself,
Uh,
right? Garba,
Dandiya
Garba,
is the dance.
Garba, Garba.
Garba, Garba. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I was also part of that as well. And I saw that, okay, like how different communities, different states kind of celebrate the festival, and you get to have a flavor of their roots. So, which is
mm,
very unique in its own nature. In India,
mm,
you just have to travel places to see all those things. But
mm,
here, at
mm,
one sweet spot, you just go there as a guest, pay some, entry fees to attend
mm,
that event,
mm,
and get a, complete vibe of that, which is actually very amazing. That's what I would say.
mm. Nice.
Hmm.
Okay, cool. Um, we will next talk about how is it how do you see your career going here? What is your career outlook given everything, given the market,
Yeah.
or not only now, but let's say if you stay here for longer, what access the market opens for you, and how do you see your career going ahead, just in that area?
Yeah. See, I always had a feeling in India, which eventually, became true after coming here. The feeling in India was like, even if you work for India, you might be in a very senior position and all, but most of the key decisions and, the management lie outside on the onshore areas. That's what I had felt. So
Mm,
most of the global companies that you used to work for India, even if there is a very strong Indian leadership and an Indian influence, but
mm,
most of the global leaders prefer staying outside. So definitely that's where I feel that most of the key decisions or maybe the management updates that I get from my organization,
mm,
the geographical advantage definitely adds to it. For
mm,
example, let's say mostly these decisions are taken in the US, but again, because of the time zone difference, we are at a very sweet time zone spot
mm,
where we are between India and US, I would say.
mm.
So, and that is where we are just being given a, a task to kind of bridge between two, the nation, so that
Mm.
the business continuity happens at large, and you are able to bridge the gaps or communicate like what the message has to go here and there.
Mm.
For example, let's say if you're playing the role of a BA, or let's say that you're playing the role of a PM. So your involvement very much kind of impacts here. And that is
Mm.
the reason why they hire such candidates mostly here, so that they would be able to run such an functions and those roles
Mm.
from here. So definitely, I feel that obviously being here, it kind of gives me that fortunately that advantage and that global advantage, and at the same time, with being very close to the leaders, obviously you are very much aligned to what their
Mm.
thought process and their leadership decisions are. Which again would have been possible in India, but again, there is always a dilution when the communication kind of gets imparted. That's what
Mm.
I would say. And talking about my career, so in career wise, I feel that okay, I think I'm heading in the right direction. Reason being because when you're moving closely with the senior management, getting to understand how things operate, it gives me that vivid picture and that exposure, which probably wouldn't have happened the way I was functioning in India. In India, I was very much one directional or one
Mm.
dimensional in my thoughts, because you are just following what your Indian leaders and everything are kind of, kind of being said.
Mm.
So maybe people who are in US might have a better advantage. That's what I feel now,
Mm.
being here. But whatever it is, I feel that okay, there is always a sense of purpose, accountability, and always I take pride in what I'm kind of doing at the moment.
Mm.
Totally, taking one step at a time, one baby step at a time, and yeah, and that's how I see that. Okay, if you have a plan, you execute it, and things will start falling in place. That's what I would.
Yeah, yeah. And do you worry at all about the market going bad right now? Or
Sometimes I do worry, because see, anxiety and these things, even if we, talk at last, okay, these things
mm.
are something we can't control and all, there
Mm.
would be kind of anxiety. We can't
Mm.
help that.
Mm.
But like I said, that if you just go day by day, then probably that kind of keep or eases you at comfort.
Yeah.
And secondly, the thing here is like, I would say the major difference that I feel in India, what used to happen, we had a lot of distraction. Reason being, our family was there. There were a lot
Mm.
of people to socialize around.
Mm.
But here we are just with a like-mind individual. For
Mm.
example, people of our all age group,
Mm.
and what their main purpose is, they are all working hard for their bread and butter.
Mm.
They are all very much job oriented, career oriented. There
Mm.
might be a few entrepreneurs who might have gone to the next stage, but I haven't been working closely with it. But
Mm.
in India, let's say when you have a family, you have a granny, you have someone very
Mm.
senior who have seen their life. They're in that post-retiral age with whom you can connect, and that's how you kind of enjoy the holidays and all.
Mm.
Here, holidays are all about visiting places, visiting that particular thing, and you have to kind of comply yourself with nature a lot. The
Mm.
more you kind of balance yourself with nature, and get used to the nature,
Mm.
yes, that would add a very calming effect, and that would definitely add a surreal and a blissful experience to you.
Mm.
So that's what I feel here, that if we are with a set of individuals who are just working left and right,
Mm.
so obviously the mindset is more like that. But at the same time, you know that okay, this is not the end, and you have to take one baby step at a time. And again, in
Yes.
my office also, I've seen many individuals who are at the next stage where they have planned their families, bought houses. Some are also heading towards citizenship. And obviously, you look up to those individuals. Okay, if they can do it, why can't
Mm.
we? I mean, and they also give that positive, assurance, and that community building framework also comes into your mind. Okay, you can also be part of that same community
Yeah.
and follow the footsteps what others have done. Many seniors in your organization have.
Yeah, you covered the right points. I
Mm,
was going to come to
mm,
that. What are
mm.
Indians actually doing after staying for long? So are they heading to a citizenship or house buying houses? You already mentioned that most
Yeah,
people come with a goal that work here for some time, then have some save some money, then buy a house or take the citizenship.
yeah.
What do you think? Are more people leaning towards taking citizenship or more just saving and going back? What do you think?
Again, it's a very individual decision.
Yeah.
Reason being, I've seen people. if they have any liabilities back in India, they go back.
Mm.
But most of the people I know that who, especially family members, like people who are married and have kids,
Yeah.
generally the first thing they're doing is like one of the spouses kind of giving up their Indian citizenship and becoming a citizen here
Mm.
because of the, the opportunity the government grants here, for example, the
Mm.
children's education, everything.
Yeah.
And secondly, buying a house, I believe, is a very smart move, which most of the Indians are doing. A reason being to kind of save the rent and all, and also with the help to buy scheme, which
Mm.
the government is offering, wherein most of the down payment, for example, 10% of it per particular limit. I don't want to go into the details
Mm.
because there would be certain clauses.
Mm.
Yeah, with that thing coming into effect, so most of the people are preferring to have their own house because the EMI they eventually have to pay is lesser than the rent, in fact, and
Mm.
also they're getting a full asset for themselves.
Mm.
Yeah, so that's one of the things what they are doing. And naturalization of citizenship, as we mentioned, it's also pretty flexible here in Ireland. If
Mm.
you have completed 5 years here,
Mm.
provided certain conditions are met,
Mm.
many people are kind of gradually,
Applying for that.
naturalizing and becoming, yeah.
Mm.
And there is a waiting period also.
Mm.
Since I'm not part of the journey, so I'll not be able to comment further.
Yeah.
But yes, I see that sense of settlement in India. And one good thing, what I feel like once you become an Irish citizen, so
Mm.
it enables you to work in UK. And
Mm.
part of that, since Ireland is part of the European Union, that also
Mm.
enables you to kind of apply for jobs within anywhere
Yes.
in any of the European nations. So
Yes.
that's actually an advantage.
A lot of benefits to the Irish passport. We'll come to that. So we were on the passport thing. So let's merge passport benefits with travel benefits and all. So many people who look up to Europe, they think, oh, Europe is so beautiful. We will when we go, we will roam around everywhere. We'll travel everywhere. But what is the reality with Indian passport? Yeah.
And the reality is like it is easier to plan a Europe tour from India than in Ireland here because Schengen slots get over in a second. मतलब एक whiskey में पूरा खत्म हो जाता है.
Uh,
बिल्कुल नहीं मिलता यहाँ पे वो Schengen के slot. And again with the agents who are kind of helping with the Schengen slot are
yeah.
charging a bomb. They're charging almost like 200 euros.
Mm.
I was trying to, set up with few agents to kind of help me with any Schengen country slot. At least एक Schengen country का मिलेगा तो at least I can plan कि हाँ चलो यूरोप में है तो घूम लेते हैं.
Uh,
But no, and he was charging like 200 euro. मैं बोला उतने में मेरा ट्रिप हो जाएगा.
yeah, true. So yeah, sad but true
Hmm,
that
hmm,
we are all very proud Indians, but when we come out of
hmm.
the country, we have to face this reality that the passport is not so
Correct.
strong, and
Yeah.
even Brazil, I was shocked to know that even so we have BRICS, right? So I used to think
Hmm,
that since Brazil is part of BRICS and India is part of BRICS, then I think I would, and development was also they're in the almost in the same race, but I was thinking they
hmm.
would have the same thing. I had a Brazilian friend in office, but they had access to Europe, and they can just go anytime they
Actually,
want, just book a
true,
flight and
true.
go. But
Uh,
it shows up in travel plans as well. But I'll let you talk
hmm,
about it. I'll add if you do not cover it at the end. So,
hmm, hmm.
um, did you get to travel, or do you not bother at all applying for
No, no,
visa
no.
and traveling?
Nothing like that. For example, like after getting a job, तो कहीं ना कहीं तो अपना भड़ास थोड़ा निकालना रहता है कि भाई अभी तो आए हैं कहीं तो जाना है तो
Uh,
जैसा है ना एक कहावत गंगा में आए हैं तो जब तक पैर नहीं धोएंगे तो क्या. So similarly,
uh,
I was again fortunate to apply for the UK visa. Getting a UK visa is far easier.
mm,
बट अगेन कभी कभी लगता है कि यार हम लोग इतना पैसा दे के जब इधर आते हैं इफ यू
uh,
जस्ट गेट अ यूके टूरिस्ट वीजा
mm,
with that with the BIVS scheme you are eligible to travel Ireland, but being
mm,
an Irish resident permit holder doesn't give you that
mm,
benefit.
mm,
That doesn't entitle you. So
mm.
UK visa leke to last year I pretty much covered all the wonderful places in UK like
Acha, just
London whole.
interruption. For my
Yeah.
knowledge, I didn't know this. So let's say
Hmm, hmm,
you are an Indian who came to
hmm,
UK as a student, and now you are working there. So that gives you access to come to Ireland as well without
No,
visa.
no, 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 no.
No,
Only the tourist visa.
tourist visa.
So
Okay.
let's say you applied for a tourist visa,
Mm.
and this is specific to only Indian and Chinese nationals. So under
Mm.
the BIVA scheme, which is British Irish Visa Scheme,
Mm.
you would be eligible to travel between both the countries,
Yeah.
जो एक common travel zone में आता है. So that's
Mm.
what it gives you that benefit.
Yeah.
But tourist लोगों के लिए है, not for the resident permit holders.
हाँ.
So
Fine.
तो इसीलिए आई अप्लाइड फॉर द यूके वीजा. एंड जैसे मैं बता रहा था, तो लास्ट ईयर आई प्रीटी मच ट्रैवल्ड अ लॉट ऑफ प्लेसेस. लाइक मैं लंदन हो आया 2 बार, देन आई
Mm.
वेंट टू वेल्स एंड एडिनबरा. फिर उसके ऊपर जो नॉर्दर्न, जो हाईलैंड्स जो होते हैं स्कॉटलैंड में,
Mm.
जो लॉक नेस एंड ऑल, वो सब भी देखा. एंड
Mm.
देन और एक भी जगह गए थे कहीं, तो इंग्लैंड का था, आई फॉरगॉट द नेम.
Mm.
एंड फिर उसके बाद कैम्ब्रिज भी देखने गया था. एंड
The university.
नॉर्थ हाँ, हाँ, हाँ.
Mm.
इट वाज रियली अ गुड एक्सपीरियंस. इवन न्यूटन के सर पे कहाँ एप्पल गिरा था वो ट्री भी है. वो ट्री मतलब वो एप्पल को फिर से ट्री बना के वो एक बना के रखे हैं.
हाँ.
किंग्स कॉलेज, क्वींस कॉलेज, वहां पे भी एक ट्रिनिटी कॉलेज है. आई डिडंट नो
हाँ.
दैट. So
Mm.
the Trinity College is where actually Newton kind of studied and graduated.
Mm.
So वहाँ
Okay.
पे हाँ. और बहुत सारे हैरी पॉटर की भी जगह थे, वो सब
Mm.
भी देखे थे. एंड वेल्स में हम लोग स्नोडोनिया गए थे. स्नोडोनिया इज अपेरेंटली लाइक द हाईएस्ट माउंटेन पीक. तो एक ट्रेन जाता है,
Mm.
मतलब जो जो बचपन की ख्वाहिशें थे एंड जो
Mm.
हमने देखा है मूवीज में,
Mm.
तो वो सब थोड़ा बहुत पिक्चर अपन करके घूम लिए.
Mm.
एंड लंदन बिंग लंदन, लंदन तो बॉलीवुड ने तो काफी लंदन को हाइप करके रखा था. तो आपको लंदन जाके वो बहुत ही एक मिक्स इमोशंस वाला फीलिंग आएगा.
Mm.
यू विल फील वेरी नॉस्टैल्जिक एंड यू विल सी अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स. बहुत सारा बॉलीवुड मूवी का शूटिंग जहाँ पे हुआ है, लंदन 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 ऐसे
Mm.
करके जो
हाँ.
हुआ है, वो भी आपको देखने को मिलेगा. सो that's what I covered. And Belfast, obviously there are ways of like where people can travel, but again I would stick to the legal way. तो मेरे पास
Mm.
वीजा जब था तो मैं भी घूम के
Mm.
आया. वो टाइटैनिक का म्यूजियम देखा था. एंड
Mm.
इट्स रियली अमेजिंग.
Mm.
वो सब देख के जब आओगे.
Anywhere else in the Europe?
नो,
No.
didn't get much of chance. Just सब UK ही हुआ.
Only UK,
I
huh? So
had
far.
हाँ, I have plans to see like in this year to travel other nations.
Hmm.
बट देखते हैं, वीजा पे डिपेंडेंट है. लाइक फर्स्ट हाफ ऑफ द ईयर तो शायद नहीं हुआ, सेकंड हाफ ऑफ द ईयर में देखेंगे.
Hmm. And one more point.
हम्म.
When especially people growing up in India,
हम्म.
s- and when they get to know the world from world lens, and this
हम्म.
they hear
हम्म.
that, oh, this is a third world country. So
हम्म.
given this perception, they start to picturize that, oh, Western world में ये होगा, वो होगा, ऐसा होगा, और मूवीज में भी
हम्म.
वैसे ही दिखाते हैं. So आपको क्या
हम्म.
लगता है कि when so this is true that people idealize it so much that they think कि वहाँ
हम्म.
तो कुछ फर्क चल रहा है. लेकिन यहाँ पे आके
हम्म.
आप जो आप इतना रहे इतना टाइम के बाद, हाउ डू यू फील कि द रियलिटी क्या है, कहाँ पे एक्चुअल लोगों को कितना हाइप करना चाहिए या नहीं करना चाहिए, क्या है?
आई थिंक ये भी डिपेंड करता है कि कैसे लोगों से ये विचार आ रहे हैं. रीजन बिंग बिकॉज बहुत लोग आजकल इंडिया में काफी स्मार्ट हो गए हैं.
हम्म.
जो लोग समझ गए हैं कि वेस्टर्न वर्ल्ड उस हिसाब से ग्रो नहीं किया जैसे पहले 15-20 साल पहले था. इट
हम्म.
वाज ऑलवेज अ लग्जरी और ऑलवेज अ प्रिविलेज टू काइंड ऑफ गो टू दीज कंट्रीज. अभी
हम्म.
सबको पता चल गया यहाँ जो भी आ रहे हैं, इट्स मे बी फॉर द बेटरमेंट ऑफ लाइफ.
हम्म.
बट विद द बेटरमेंट ऑफ लाइफ, जैसे यहाँ सब कुछ खुद ही करना पड़ता है बिकॉज
हम्म.
लेबर हियर इज वेरी कॉस्टली.
हम्म.
So many people are actually, and with India kind of growing in the IT space, and लोगों को जिस हिसाब से आजकल पे स्किल के जॉब मिल रहे हैं,
हम्म.
तो मेरे को ऐसा लग रहा है कि वो लोग समझ गए हैं कि इंडिया में जो लग्जरी मिलता है, मान लीजिए
हम्म.
का एक ड्राइवर, बहुत सारे आपको जो सर्विसेज जो हॉस्पिटैलिटी इंडस्ट्री में मिल रहा है, वो
हम्म.
यूरोप आपको नहीं दे सकता.
राइट.
इट्स द ओनली चैलेंज व्हाट आई फील इन इंडिया इज मे बी द ओवर पॉपुलेशन जो हो गया, जिस हिसाब से जैसे क्राउड बढ़ते जा
हम्म.
रहा है, वो एक
हम्म.
डाउन साइड है.
राइट.
बट ऑब्वियसली ये मेंटालिटी स्पेशली हमारे जनरेशन के लोगों में नहीं है कि हाँ कोई अगर विदेश में है,
हम्म.
बहुत ज्यादा प्रिविलेज है.
हम्म.
इट इज नॉर्मलाइज्ड अ लॉट, ये
हम्म.
मेरा मानना है. क्योंकि
हम्म.
मेरे बहुत लोगों से ऐसे बातचीत होता है एंड
हम्म.
लोगों का ये कहना रहता है कि जो भी करो थोड़ा स्मार्टली करो. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, मेनी पीपल, लाइक आई वुड गिव एन एग्जाम्पल. वन ऑफ माई कजन वाज मेंशनिंग
हम्म.
that if you are staying in Europe, you see that how much अमाउंट ऑफ मनी यू आर पेइंग इन टैक्सेस,
हम्म
एंड वो टैक्सेस का पैसा देख के तुमको क्या बेनिफिट मिल रहा है, व्हाट टाइप ऑफ
हम्म
बेनिफिट आर यू अवेलिंग।
राइट।
उससे अच्छा तुम दुबई देखो, दुबई में तुमको मिलेगा।
हम्म
एंड मेनी पीपल आर लाइक, अगर तुमको सिटीजनशिप नहीं मिल रहा क्या मिलेगा, मतलब इस सिटीजनशिप को लेके क्या करोगे, अगर घूमना ही है
राइट।
हम लोग तो वैसे ही घूम लेंगे। हम
हाँ
लोग को मतलब ऐसा कुछ बेनिफिट या प्रिविलेज नहीं मिल रहा कि हाँ मैं अगर इस कंट्री का सिटीजन हूँ तो मैं एक ए क्लास सिटीजन बन गया।
हाँ
एंड ऑफ द डे लोग ना आजकल ऐसा देख रहे हैं कि पहले क्या होता था कि एक जमाने में, जो मेरे पापा भी बता रहे थे,
हाँ
उनके टाइम में था कि एक पोजीशन चीजों का रखना बहुत बड़ी चीज है, कि मेरे पास ये गाड़ी है, मेरे पास ये
हम्म
घर है।
हम्म
लेकिन हम लोग की जनरेशन के पास ऐसा है कि गाड़ी रख के क्या फायदा जब इतना मैं ट्रैफिक में चला नहीं पाऊंगा। मैं
हम्म
रेंटल्स में क्यों रिलाई ना करूं मैं,
हम्म
मतलब वो लोग लाइबिलिटी ज्यादा बढ़ाना नहीं चाहते हैं। तो
हम्म
ये तो मैं एक छोटा सा एग्जांपल जैसे बताया, लेकिन
हम्म
ऐसे बहुत सारे ऐसे जनरेशनल माइंडसेट चेंजेस आ रहे
हम्म
हैं। लोग स्मार्टली उसी में रहना चाहते हैं जहां उनको लगता है, जहां वो उनके इनकम मल्टीप्लाई कर सके,
हम्म
जहां पे वो कुछ वैल्यू ऐड कर सके। एंड
हम्म
इसीलिए मैंने देखा हूँ कि जॉब से भी बहुत लोग ये एंटरप्रेन्योरल जर्नी में काफी शिफ्ट कर,
इंडिया में यहाँ पे
बिकॉज
यहाँ पे बोल रहे
यहाँ पे तो ऐसे मेरे को दिखे नहीं, एक
हो?
आध लोगों से मैं मिला हूँ, ये होली होली जब खेलने गया था तो
हम्म
दिखे हैं लोग। एंड बट अगेन आई डेंट गेट मच ऑफ अ चांस टू अंडरस्टैंड देयर जर्नी, बट
हम्म
इंडिया में काफी लोग मतलब एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप की ओर ज्यादा मूव हो रहे हैं,
हम्म
बिकॉज दे हैव अंडरस्टूड इफ दे हैव टू बिकम रिच,
हम्म
देन एक 9 to 5 या फिर एक 9 to 9 वाला सैलरी जॉब में नॉट ऑफर,
हम्म
एक साइड हसल कुछ ना कुछ तो चाहिए, यू हैव टू
हम्म
डू समथिंग एक्स्ट्रा।
हम्म
तो ये सब देख के मेरे को ऐसा लग रहा है कि पीपल आर बिकमिंग स्ट्रीट स्मार्ट दीज डेज, बहुत
हम्म
मतलब वो एडवांस हो रहे हैं कि अगर पैसे कमाने हैं, कुछ करना है तो कुछ डिफरेंट करो।
हम्म
तो एंड अगेन विद सम ऑफ माय फ्रेंड्स आल्सो आई सीन दे आर आल्सो लिविंग देयर, जस्ट कुछ कुछ नहीं है कि भी स्टॉक ट्रेडिंग कर रहे हैं वो लोग, वो वाला
हम्म
मेंटेलिटी भी आ रहा है कि मेरे को, क्योंकि उसकी वाइफ भी जॉब कर रही है, कि बोले एक स्टेबल इनकम तो है, तो बिफोर आई फिगर आउट व्हाट आई वांट टू डू,
हम्म
मेरे को जो चीज आ रहा है तो आई डोंट वांट माय फाइनेंशियल, ये जो बोलते हैं ना अपना जो इंडिपेंडेंस कहीं मैं खो बैठूं,
हम्म
ये एक आ रहा है। हाँ।
हम्म ठीक है।
हम्म
नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन। सो
हम्म
दो दो तरह के लोग हैं, इंडियंस,
हम्म
जो जो यहाँ पे आए हैं उनमें बोल रहा हूँ,
हम्म
उनको वी कैन डिवाइड देम इनटू टू
हम्म
टाइप ऑफ
हम्म
पीपल।
हम्म
वन काइंड इज हु थिंक्स कि इंडियन पासपोर्ट का वैल्यू नहीं है और हम
हम्म
कहीं कहीं जाने के लिए इतना वीज़ा का माथा पच्ची। तो
हम्म
अगर हम वो अगर उस हर्डल से गुजरना नहीं चाहते हैं तो दे फील क्वाइट लॉक्ड इन अ स्टे, इन अ कंट्री विच इज साइज
हम्म।
ऑफ ओडिशा। फॉर एग्जाम्पल
हाँ हाँ
आई एम
हाँ,
कम फ्रॉम
करेक्ट करेक्ट।
ओडिशा। एक
हम्म
इतना बड़ा देश, वहाँ पे एटलीस्ट वहाँ पे घूमने की इतनी चीजें थी कि उसको नहीं घूम के मैं उड़ीसा के साइज के देश में आके यहाँ पे बंद गया। मतलब एक टाइप
हम्म
ऑफ वो सोचता है।
हम्म
दूसरा सोचता है कि इट्स नॉट अबाउट कि इस कंट्री का साइज क्या है, इट्स अबाउट द
हम्म
ग्लोबल आउटलुक दैट आई गेट व्हाइल सिटिंग हियर। कि हम मैं
हम्म
यहाँ जब बैठता हूँ तो आई परसीव न्यूज़, ग्लोबल न्यूज़, एज एन इंडियन, प्लस एज अ plus I get the perspective that how Western society is taking it and how which way the world is actually going. So हमारा perception
हम्म
उधर से भी शेप हो रहा है। तो एक है ग्लोबल
हम्म
आउटलुक, और एक है कि हैं क्या फायदा हुआ यहाँ यहाँ पे आके
हम्म
इतने बड़े देश से आके एक छोटे से स्टेट में बंध गए। तो
हम्म।
व्हाट डू यू थिंक कि आपका क्या पर्सपेक्टिव है? एंड हाँ, लेट्स स्टार्ट विद दैट।
हाँ, मतलब आपने एक क्वेश्चन में काफी कुछ फ्लेवर्स ऐड कर लिए, तो इफ आई अंडरस्टूड योर क्वेश्चन करेक्टली, या फिर मेरा जो इंटरप्रिटेशन है,
हम्म
सी आई फील दैट समटाइम्स ऑल्सो आई ऑल्सो फील सैचुरेटेड ऑन सम डेज कि हाँ क्या करूं, मतलब ये कंट्री का जो बाउंड्री इतना छोटा है,
हम्म
बट सेम टाइम देर इज अ लॉट टू काइंड ऑफ एक्सपीरियंस एज वेल। फॉर
हम्म
एग्जाम्पल एक चीज जो मैंने यहाँ सीखा है, हम लोग इंडिया से जब आए थे, वी हैड अ वेरी पैटर्न ड्रिवन माइंडसेट कि
हम्म
ऐसा करोगे तो ये मिलेगा, वो करोगे तो वो मिलेगा।
हम्म
लेकिन यहाँ के लोगों का जो कल्चर एंड लोगों का जो थिंकिंग मैंने देखा है,
हम्म
ये लोग ना एवरी मोमेंट लीव करते हैं। ये
हम्म
लोग इतना नहीं सोचते हैं जितना हम लोग एक
हम्म
ट्रेडिशनल फॉर्मेट में आए हैं।
हम्म
अगर मेरे को कुछ नहीं आता तो मैं उसके लिए मैं ट्रेन करूंगा अपने ऊपर कि हाँ
हम्म
मेरे को ये करना है, और अगर रिजल्ट्स नहीं आ रहे तो मैं फिर से अपने आप को ट्रेन करूंगा।
हम्म
ऐसा नहीं कि हाँ मेरे को एकदम से कॉम्पिटिटिव होके रहना है, एकदम से वो चीज हासिल करना है। दैट्स व्हाट आई फील फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम।
हम्म
एंड सेकेंडली, रिगार्डिंग द पासपोर्ट एंड ऑल, सी sometimes when you don't get certain benefits because of your passport, obviously you will blame कि हाँ, being a part of such a nation which doesn't entitle you to such benefits, you
Hmm.
would always look towards like the grass is greener at the other side.
Hmm.
You would always look towards those angles.
Hmm.
But there are ways. It's not like we should be judging things at such, small things कि हाँ ये करेंगे तो वैसा होगा.
Hmm.
There are always advantage and disadvantage. The reason why I came here because I had never experienced the other side of India
Yes.
or other side of the world because it is my first time experience in an abroad in a foreign country.
Hmm.
One thing that I'm liking here is that it is giving me that opportunity or giving me that sense to kind of stabilize and to settle here.
Hmm.
मेरे को कुछ ऐसा uncomfortable अभी तक नहीं लग रहा है.
Right.
यहाँ का वेदर, यहाँ का फूड हैबिट्स, इवन द इंडियन कम्युनिटी, द वे इट इज ग्रोइंग एंड ऑल्सो द वेलकमिंग नेचर ऑफ द आयरिश पीपल.
Hmm.
एंड प्लस आयरलैंड में मेरे को बहुत सारे ऐसे डाइवर्सिटी भी दिखता है व्हेन इट कम्स टू लॉट ऑफ अदर फॉरेन नेशनल्स आल्सो वर्किंग हियर.
Hmm.
एंड अगेन इट becoming more of a financial or an IT capital for Europe as well with the opportunity it brings onto the table.
Hmm.
And third, with an English speaking country, ये इंडियंस के लिए बहुत ज्यादा एडवांटेज और हमको काफी फुलफिल भी करता है.
Hmm.
That's what I see. So definitely, when you are here, I would always look up to the advantages what the country is offering here,
Hmm.
rather than cribbing about what my parent country is not giving me or not.
Hmm.
ये ऐसा लाइक फॉर लाइक वो जो बोलते हैं ना कंपेयरिंग एप्पल्स एंड
Hmm.
टमेटोज वो तो हम लोग
Hmm.
कभी नहीं कर पाएंगे.
Hmm.
दैट्स व्हाट आई गॉट टू से हियर.
Right. And especially I think the global outlook thing that I mentioned, it matters more to people who are more experienced, I would say, in life. So I would say I would think people coming at 18, 20, 21, 23, they would think less. They would just be excited about हैरी पॉटर वहां शूट हुआ था, गेम ऑफ थ्रोन्स
हाँ
वहां शूट
हाँ
हुआ
हाँ
था,
हाँ.
ये बहुत सुंदर बिल्डिंग है. बट आई थिंक
हम्म
जो थोड़ा सा हायर साइड में एज में आ रहे हैं, वो
हम्म.
उनका ये पर्सपेक्टिव भी ग्रो होता है कि इंडिया यहाँ से या फिर दुनिया यहाँ से क्या दिख रहा है, चाइना क्या कर रहा है, यूएस क्या कर रहा है, यूरोप
करेक्ट
कैसे
करेक्ट
अलाइंड होता
करेक्ट.
है. तो आई थिंक
हाँ
वो पर्सपेक्टिव का फायदा आपको होता होगा.
हाँ. मतलब एक ग्लोबल आउटलुक के साथ मेरे को लगता है कि जो इंटेलेक्चुअल एडवांटेज मेरे को जो इंडिया में मिल रहा था,
हम्म.
द कंपनी ऑफ पीपल आई वाज विद,
हम्म.
वो थोड़ा यहाँ मिसिंग है. रीजन बीइंग पीपल आर वेरी मच स्लॉटेड विद देयर 9 to 5 जॉब. उन लोग का एक
हम्म.
ही बहुत ही डिवाइसिव माइंडसेट है कि नौकरी करो पैसे कमाओ एंड बहुत ही रूटीन हो जाते हैं.
हम्म.
समटाइम्स आई मिस दोस डिस्कशंस. इंडिया में जो सेट ऑफ पीपल मेरे को मिल रहे थे ऐसे बात करने के लिए बहुत लोग होंगे, बट द कंटेंट एंड द वैल्यू दे ऐड
हम्म.
or the genuinity or the analysis they bring onto table,
हम्म.
यहाँ मैं थोड़ा वो चीज थोड़ा मिस करता हूँ क्योंकि इंडिया में बहुत स्मार्ट इंडिविजुअल्स
हम्म.
मिलते थे अपने को. यस. एंड स्पीकिंग अबाउट द एज ग्रुप, हाँ मैक्सिमम पीपल मैंने जो देखा है जो 25-26 वाले एज के जो लोग थे,
हम्म.
बिकॉज मोस्ट ऑफ देम कम हियर फॉर मास्टर्स एंड आफ्टर मास्टर्स उनका एक ही चीज रहता है कि जॉब करके कैसे सेटल होना. तो
हम्म.
वो जो 25 से 30, 25 to 30 एज वाले जो होते हैं, तो
हम्म.
मोस्टली मोस्ट ऑफ देम का वही माइंडसेट है. They don't have any liabilities to carry at
हम्म.
that age. For
हम्म.
example, neither they are married nor they
हम्म.
have a family जो वो सोचेंगे.
हम्म.
And secondly, since they are also experiencing life, तो
हम्म.
उनका mindset initially it starts with bit of materialistic pleasure कि हाँ मेरे पास ये गैजेट ये सब होने चाहिए, which is
यस.
good, which eventually everyone has. मेरे को भी वो चीज रहता है and I feel
हाँ.
that not comparing anything, वो रहता है. फिर उसके बाद रहता है उनका एक बकेट लिस्ट और विश लिस्ट
हाँ.
रहता है जो वो फुलफिल करना चाहते हैं.
हाँ.
बट इफ आई आस्क देम कि हाँ आज से 5 साल 7 साल के बाद वेयर डू यू वांट टू सी योरसेल्फ, मे दे मे नॉट हैव दैट आंसर.
राइट.
एंड अगेन सेइंग दैट इफ आई वाज एट दैट एज मेरे पास भी नहीं होता. वो क्लैरिटी इतना जल्दी नहीं मिलता है लोगों को. वो
हम्म.
गलती करते हैं सीखते हैं.
हम्म.
बट हाँ, इट्स अ गुड मिक्स ऑफ पीपल हु कम हियर. तो
So, beyond the
हम्म
shine and glamour that Europe or
हम्म
Western world presents to you, what do you
हम्म
think if you just see India from here? And
हम्म
I'm thinking from a person who, let's say, wanted to come but could not come. So, what do you
हम्म.
think they can do there? And are they still in a positive situation there, and they can still build equal or more in terms of career in India? What do you think?
Definitely, definitely, because I believe the education what our Indian education system has provided, it might have made us very competitive, pattern driven, but at the same time हम लोग का जो skills जो inherit हुआ है इंडिया
Hmm.
में,
Hmm.
that is way much better. That's what I feel.
Hmm.
See, I'm not comparing the whole mass, but the people who have actually been successful, जितना भी मैंने देखा है.
Hmm.
And and I don't feel that there would be any form of regret that if they have not been able to come to an abroad country and all, so
Hmm.
keep trying. See, one of the recruiters once told me when I was a bit upset of getting a rejection after going there. She is like, you need not have to feel bad that okay you are not able to perform. See, this is a country wherein she also struggled, and
Hmm.
she told me that lot of things matter here. For
Hmm.
example, they also have to balance the number of employees in the company, whether how much are Indians, how much are foreign nationals, like how much are Irish. That is
Right.
also a balance they have to do.
Right.
Second is the visa thing.
Hmm.
Third is like culturally whether you are fitting into the team or not. That is
Hmm.
also another thing where they also look forward to.
Hmm.
Fourth thing is that the amount of salary that you're asking. Fifth thing is that okay, whether you have Irish experience or not. So these all things will be there. It doesn't mean that okay, your skills are being questioned here. There are a lot of factors playing here. Sometimes the luck, like I mentioned, also
Hmm.
plays an important factor here.
Hmm.
So having said this, I feel that okay, people who are actually doing well in India, barely like many friends of mine I have seen, they don't have such interest to come here because the medical facilities they get in India and
Yes.
the kind of parental support they are able to provide there. They don't
Hmm.
think that okay, they would want to kind of come here and stay here. Obviously, everyone wants to have a short deputation,
Hmm.
have a an experience outside. But when it comes to long-term settlement, people of my age and all, they have their mixed opinions.
Hmm.
Which I feel that okay, every like I say that every star or every light has its own ray of hope. So
Hmm.
similarly, everyone there has their own story to narrate.
Hmm.
So rather than being a flock in the herd and following that bait chal,
Hmm.
it's better to follow your own intention. That's
Right. Right. That's a
yeah.
good point. Um, Last two questions.
Mm,
One is since you came here and you have
mm,
at least in foreseeable future you want to stay here.
mm, mm.
What would you miss? What do you miss?
यहाँ पे I think I
मतलब
will
इंडिया
miss a
का
lot.
चीज
India. Okay, what I miss from India.
अबाउट इंडिया हियर हाँ.
Okay, okay. Obviously, the food is one of the things.
हम्म.
I mean, let's say that time when I was away from Odisha, I used to miss Odia food or let's
हम्म.
say the bora aloo chop, what we
हम्म.
used to have.
हम्म.
And those things were also not prevalent in other parts of India
Yeah.
also.
हाँ.
And Odia cuisine is something that I miss on most days.
हम्म.
Secondly, some of the Indian groceries that we kind of shop, sometimes we feel that okay, बहुत ज़्यादा overpriced हो रहा है. We are almost paying 10 times than their actual price,
हम्म.
and that is again the thing. Third thing is since we spoke about food, so
हम्म.
it also reminds us about that obhada or the mahaprasad that we used
हम्म.
to cherish during the food festivals or during festivals inside the temple and all. That is one of the things.
हम्म.
Second is especially India mein there is a thing called as jugad,
हम्म.
which happens because there is a lot of middlemen. For example, you know that okay, if certain work has to be done,
हम्म.
uh, कुछ भी अगर ऐसा कुछ करना है, there are people who are there to help you, or there are
हम्म.
agencies who are there to help you out. It
हम्म.
may not be the case here. If you are relying on an agency, one thing is that you are not guaranteed whether it will be done or not.
हम्म.
Second, they charge you a lot. That
हम्म.
is one of the things. And because when you're in India, you are barely stressed because you Google few things, हाँ इसका कोई कांटेक्ट है, you would
हम्म.
be able to understand okay हाँ कि काम मेरा हो जाएगा, ये करना है, and
हम्म.
I found the right person, ये एक
हम्म.
होता है. एंड एंड ऑब्वियसली मतलब ऐसे बहुत सारी चीजें होंगे जो अभी मेरे को याद नहीं आ रहा है, बट
हम्म.
ये दो चीजें तो मैं थोड़ा रिलेटेड. हाँ, हेल्थ केयर का भी कभी कभी लगता है बिकॉज
हम्म.
फॉर एग्जांपल ऐसा तो अभी मतलब टचवुड अभी कुछ मेजर हुआ नहीं. फॉर
हम्म.
एग्जांपल आई जस्ट हैड अ लिगामेंट टियर.
हम्म.
So, probably the charges and the, the जो बोलते हैं ना जो diagnosis provided by the doctor was very basic.
हम्म.
इंडिया में उतने पैसे में I could have get myself treated and all. Here, though my company's insurance covered it, here an MRI almost costs around 250 to 300 euros.
हम्म.
This is what the charge is. India में it barely costs 8,000 and all.
हम्म.
So, and also the easy access for medicines and also
इन इंडिया.
that you
हम्म.
get in India. Yeah,
हम्म.
that is another thing. So these are some of the things what I can think about at the moment. Yeah.
Will you ever feel at home, given that you miss so many things about India, and the India shaped your personality actually. So whatever you are,
Mm,
most of that is coming
mm,
from how you grew up in India. Will you ever feel at home here? And this is, I'm not specifically to you. I'm just asking as a
mm,
uh, people who think how Indians live outside of India. So how
mm.
what is your answer to that?
Uh, well, it is too early to kind of comment
Right.
that, reason being
Mm.
because yet to complete 3 years here.
Mm-hmm.
The few things what I've learned here is especially the food habits and the courtesy the people bring here.
Mm.
And secondly, the professionalism they bring onto their work. And the third thing is that without speaking much, they believe in getting things done.
Mm.
Having a good control of the
Mm.
emotions and working on themselves to kind of achieve something. So these are
Mm.
few things here. And fourth thing, what I actually want to do, but I have failed in doing that, is like these people are actually, giving a lot of emphasis to fitness. They would
Mm.
exercise a lot, and they feel that their body needs that therapy. It's very therapeutic for them. You'd
Mm.
see a lot of them running and getting into a lot of fitness activities like cycling, outdoor sports, like swimming is something that everyone knows.
Mm.
By natural.
Mm.
I mean, even if I know swimming, but I'm not a regular. For
Mm.
example, these people, the way the climate changes here, they kind of accustom themselves. For example, if it's getting very hot, they would be going to swimming classes and all.
Mm.
Running is what I've seen these people just do it. They don't have to rely कि आज मंगलवार है कल
Mm.
से start ये that Sunday, nothing like that. So
Mm.
and yeah, and again, like I said, they have their own stories to tell here. So you also vibe in their stories and also understand, okay, this is how most of the things happen here. And plus, being a part of the Western, country or the influence they get, most of the concerts, most of the songs, and very much relatable. It's like if you're in Ireland, you just hear a particular kind of music. No, you're like you will still listen to Coldplay. I know these stars are also making concerts in India, but
Mm.
at the same time, the Adele is also doing a concert here.
Mm.
Even concerts are coming here. So, so you get access to such star concerts as well.
Mm.
Like if you have a particular hobby or doing anything, yeah,
Right.
this gives you that opportunity. You're very
Right.
much connected with the Western influence. That's what I feel.
Yeah. And any regrets so far?
Regrets as such, no. Like, I mean, I used to feel that okay, if I don't get a job, then probably I wouldn't, spend more time here than having a career here. I'd rather go back to India and do something. So,
Mm.
yeah, before it could have happened, I was fortunate to get a job here. So
Yeah.
that's the thing. Yeah, and as such, no regrets. I mean, everything has been a good learning lesson here. And the more you learn, the more exposure you get. Okay, that's where some of the setbacks also teach you a lot of things also as well.
Yeah. And this is the last
Mm,
question of
mm,
this discussion.
mm,
And this
mm,
is more about ending it with India's positioning in the tech order. So, since you
mm,
are a techie,
mm,
what do you feel? Where is India in terms of that? And especially because most of us who came here came through tech.
mm,
So,
mm,
what can India do to balance it out so that people feel that, oh, it's the same. My as a techie or in technology career, where
mm.
I'm at in India is same as in Europe or US. Why would I go? So we are not there yet. But what do you think?
Correct.
Um, what do you think India can should improve in tech? Um, so yeah, just we'll close with that.
Okay. Like in terms of technology, I feel that India is far more superior with
Mm,
the resources and everything it has to offer.
yeah,
It is definitely one of the best resource grooming countries. That's what I feel.
yeah,
And it has earlier many companies used to open a lot of back offices in India, considering the labor in India is cheaper.
yeah.
But that's no longer the case. I mean, lot of African nations and also Mexico and some of the Eastern European nations are getting that privilege now. Reason being, it's easier to hire and
Mm,
onboard resources at a lower cost
mm,
compared to India because of the quality and the price what India is getting. these days.
Yeah.
But having said that, it's again getting really difficult to replace Indians at one time. China is again another competitor when it comes to such resources and all. But
Yeah.
one of the advantages that India has, it's the good communication and grab over the English language, the way they articulate, the way they are able to explain.
Yeah.
That's probably what China is liking, and there is a perception that okay, China will be able to overcome this, but no, we haven't been able to see that so far.
Hmm.
That's what I feel. And secondly, if I have to say what India is lacking, see, if India is lacking something or in terms of the technology, then probably I would also feel that, okay, this is something I also need to kind of, get my hands dirty and also learn.
Hmm.
I not in a state to kind of comment that, okay, what India is lacking at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, so definitely we are doing good. We are all in that technology space. It's just that we are shifting towards more towards the Gen AI space, and in the Gen AI space, which is relatively newer, and with that coming up, AI coming up, a lot of things. So what used to be, source of income, and what of things used to be hustle for many people,
Yeah.
that is becoming very much automated these days. So
Yeah.
AI is gonna be the next advancement, and people have to shift there. If there is no shortcuts behind it, with the way the market is kind of grooming. So
Right.
that's what I wanted to say that okay, with this coming up, the market is a bit unstable, and also with the current situation, US how it has unfolded.
Hmm.
But again, that's just a phase. Yeah, people will be able to figure out.
Yeah. So,
Mm,
I'm hopeful, of course,
mm,
about India's journey in tech. And
yeah.
I really hope we do more, especially in
Mm,
AI,
mm,
because that's the currently running thing. And of course, we all hope, because we came from there. We all hope that our home becomes more beautiful,
mm,
and in terms of all aspects. So,
mm.
I think, let's end here. Do you have any last
Yes.
message for whoever is watching you second time?
Yes, I feel that people should become, positive before coming here and shouldn't be drawing any conclusions before they plan their abroad trip or their studies trip, because most of the people coming here generally prefer the student route. Patience is one of the key factors that will kind of help them, stay forward in this country. Because I've seen many people who have eventually got a job, it has taken them almost a year also. But having said that, they have always held their head high
Hmm.
and also been able to crack very good companies also. It's just that it was a matter of time and, stroke of luck that kind of came into picture. So people coming here, do your homework well and
Yeah.
don't just follow the herd. Have your own decisions, because your strength is gonna be your, X factor, and always rely on your strength. And eventually you will just be able to figure out, because getting a job is like the last thing you would want to do. It's not the only thing. So don't think so much. And again, if you are not able to make it, so it shouldn't be a regret also. Even if you're going back to India, you should go back with your head, head held high. That's what I want to say.
Yeah.
Mm.
Of course, amazing. It was great talking to Anshuman Bhai again. His full name is,
Likewise, likewise.
yeah. So, he is from, just for viewers, he is from Bhubaneswar, Odisha, and you can find him on LinkedIn. Anshhuman Dwivedy spelling.
Dwivedy.
Yes, so you can find him on LinkedIn. Maybe if he permits, I'll put the link in description. If not, you can just find with this name that he spelled. He's in Dublin, working in Citibank. Good guy, made great progress. So, for many, it would be a path to follow, role model probably. So, if this video also gets good traction, maybe we'll bring him third time. But that's all for now. Anshuman bhai, thank you so much.
अच्छा तमन्ने वीडियो लाइक ना पहले नो था. But jokes apart, thank you, Abhinav. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. This helped me in connecting with a lot of people, and also at the same time, I'm glad that I'm able to address many people queries. And I would also like to, post a video for you, maybe in your channel, to hear about your experience, because you have been very successful in the job market. So maybe once the time is right, we'll have your video.
Yes. Okay. So,
Yeah.
चलो हमें
Thank you.
देख लो. चलो, bye
हाँ,
bye.
चलो bye.
Bye bye.